Doesn't need to. You don't need to. There we go. Live. Let me bump up the comments. So there we go. Oh my God, my hair? That's because I washed it. It's looking kind of fluffy. It's already looking longer. Anywho, there we go, Gina. There we go. And thank you for posting in the chat so I can bump up the font size so I can see it. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Look, and I'm singing into a yoga block. There we go. People are bouncing and jumping and bunny hopping. Traveling fans. Yay. Okay, people can hear me. Good. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Foreman Mills, right? Okay, here we go. Oh, goodness. Oh, I got to take it for a sec. Oh, you guys. Our friends, one of our friends' dads passed away last week, and another friend today, his mom passed away. Oof. It's tough. In the midst of life, we are in death, etc. So here's a funny thing. Lighter note, let the notification take me here. That's cool, Barbara. Excellent. Kelly Smith, that's really funny that you mentioned, does that make us groupies? I used to have a t-shirt business where I made t-shirts that just said groupie on them. So that was back in the day. Here's the thing. You guys, we will all die at some point. Not to start in the somber mode, okay? But knowing that we're all going to die, but we don't know when it is, let's make sure we're living before we're dying, okay? Let's make sure we do that. Oh, Kelly Smith, one of my besties passed away suddenly last week. Yeah, it's going to happen to all of us. And then someday, we don't just watch this show, we are in this show. Someday our besties are going to say that about us. We always think it happens to other people. Someday we're going to be that person. Now, I say that as kind of a sobering message to remind you to live, okay? Like, what was her name in Auntie Mame? Edith? No. What was, I got to Google it, you know? The one who got pregnant? I almost say Forrest Gump. Edith Grump? I can't remember. Live, live, live. Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death is a term. But let's get real here. Do you want to be on your deathbed saying, I spent way too long cleaning my kitchen, or I changed that? No, it was here. You know what? I got to look at? Agnes Gooch. See, this is funny. Notice I even just did something. I disrupted my stuff. Agnes Gooch, I believe. Yeah, it was Patty somebody, the actress, but that's something I would Google. So think about it. What are some things you want to do with your life before you die? You can write them in the comments. I highly recommend writing them on a piece of paper to yourself. Okay? We are coming up on the 2-year anniversary of when one of our besties, not just the parents of our crew, but one of our crew passed away. She was my age. She didn't even get to be 50, whatever, 6, 7. It's heartbreaking. None of us know. Yes, Pat Cass. Right. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. What can we do to honor the life we still have for the people who have passed in our lives, who don't have the opportunity to still be moving around on this plane? Okay? Write that stuff down. And please, I would much rather live in a slightly messy, slightly cluttery house and have a kick-ass life if I had a choice. But you know what? You don't necessarily need to. You can have a decluttered, neat home and have time to do the things you want to do. Okay? I firmly believe this. And if not, I really want to get curious about why you think you can't have the life you want. I want to hear all the reasons, because I want to poke holes in some of those things that you think may cause that. Or I also want to better understand. Maybe I need to shut the F up because you do have it harder. Okay? Yeah. Patty says, you always think there's time. I talked to my first cousin in Australia at Christmas. Hadn't had a chance to call him again. Yeah, got a message. Yep. Yep. I had a text from a cousin couple like summers ago. We were just texting. And then a day before my birthday, I got a call from her sister saying she's gone. Yeah. It really does. It brings things into perspective because none of us know. So since we don't know when that day is, so we cannot sort it out to be like, well, I'll do this here and I'll do that then. Push the things you want to do in your life up to the top of the list and let some of the stuff that doesn't matter fall to the bottom. Okay. So Kelly Smith is saying, yes, I need to write a will on my list for this month to contact a lawyer and get that done. Kelly Smith, I love that. What's your idea? Do you have an idea? And this is going to help just talking about the next steps. The next step, as you said, is contact a lawyer to get that done. Do you have an idea of what lawyer you might call for that? Pardon me. I'm realizing I have smudges on my glasses. Do you have a lawyer you're thinking of contacting? If you do, can you look up their phone number? She's a client of mine. Perfect. Excellent, Kelly. So here's a fun thing too, just looking at the practicality. See, getting into reality of stuff. So you have that client and you said, notice what you did. You also gave yourself a timeline. My friend already went, yep, on my list for this month. Not to freak you out, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the last remaining work days of January. So not bossing, just asking, could you, Kelly Smith, could you contact that client to set up an appointment? And could you contact them today, tomorrow, the next day, or before Friday, 3 p.m.? Is that something you feel you could work into your schedule? I hope so, because I often, and I have reticence about, I am better at this than I used to be, but I will say my life changed when I was able to text and email people more so than calling on phones. I am still drag my feet. So I try to be able to find other ways to contact people. I love it, Kelly Smith. Yep, calling tomorrow. Would you like some accountability with that? Would you like me to follow up with you? Or would you like me to let you know that there is a TikTok live and a YouTube live tomorrow? All righty. So Kelly Smith, writing down. I'm going to say Kelly will. Okay. And I'll just say, hey, Kelly, did you call them today? Cool. Yes. The way January has flown, February generally does too. Yes. All the days fly. And then the next thing you know, you're older and you're like, where the hell did all these wrinkles come from? Does anybody else here? Because we have a nice small crew here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. If anybody else needs to write a will here, please write it down. You're doing it for your peace of mind, but also the peace of mind of the people that are going to have to clean up after your death. I say this because our friend who passed away, whose dad passed away last week, that dad had no will. Already the family is in tension because a lot of things are unclear. Okay? So what I recommend is, this is what worked for me, so I will give you the recipe that worked and allowed us to get our wills, is I highly recommend spending some money and going to a lawyer that is specialized in estate planning and wills. You may think you are saving some money by doing something online, but what you may be also doing is something wrong that doesn't work for your state. So spend a little extra money and get the peace of mind by going to a professional that is going to make sure that you cover all the bases. If you don't know of anybody if you get overwhelmed, and it's so funny, my Gen X brain just went to the vision of like opening up like the yellow pages to the attorney section or the lawyer section. Okay. And so I offer this to you. Okay. Judy needs to do this too. So here's when I don't know. This is what worked for me. Your crew, your hive mind, your friends in your local community, in your state even. Reach out to your friends who are in your crew and ask anybody if they can recommend an estate planning lawyer. Because if somebody has a recommendation and they give it to you, they say this in advertising all the time. A personal recommendation from somebody you know and trust is worth its weight in gold. It will save you stress and time like you wouldn't believe trying to reinvent the wheel and find somebody on your own. Okay. So that's what we did. We said, hey, we need wills. And we threw it out there to our friend group. And one of the people who's older in our friend group was like, yes, we got ours done with this guy. Here's who we used. So we just were like, okay, we'll go to that guy too. Then just yesterday, and it may have been on the TikTok live, our friends who were 10 years younger than us were saying we need to get wills too. And so I copy and pasted the information from our guy and gave it to them. So I share with you, getting somebody who's in your state that practices that kind of law and getting a personal recommendation, if you can, is going to be the green route that's going to get you there, because you're going to feel safe doing it. If somebody you know and trust has already entrusted themselves with that person, their recommendation will save you so much stress of trying to find somebody on your own. Okay? So write down today on your list, everybody. Reach out to my friends who live in my state. Now I say that because states vary. You know, my most of my family's up in Massachusetts. There are different rules there for certain things. I live in PA. So find somebody who's in your state, okay? Any other questions about getting a will done that I can help you with? That is the process I used. It worked well. I recommend it to others. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Sherry, I love this. It's not about wills, but it's even more so. It's about life and how you're living it. I'm not sure what it is I want to do. I'm making a list of things that bring me joy. Yay. Yay for the list of things that bring you joy, but not sure how to put myself first. You start and you practice. Looking at my life right now, I seem to do whatever others want of me. Any tips? Yes, I do. Okay. What I recommend is this, is when you are scheduling what you do every day, I would highly recommend your list of things that bring you joy. Make it like a checklist and post it somewhere where you can see it. Now, if you live with other people and they're going to make fun of you, let them, and then put it in a notebook or something. But have your list of joy, all of them, the big, the small, the medium, the doable, the daily, the once in a lifetime. Have that in your face when you are scheduling your day, and start with one piece of joy, one chunk of joy, and put it in your calendar. If it helps you, I color code mine, okay? And I make sure that I have something that I do every day that I think is fun, okay? So start small, Sherry, but kind of like getting used to a new seasoning, maybe. Start small and work it in. Notice where you may need to adjust the expectations of not always being at somebody else's beck and call in order to create time to do something you want. The slower and smaller you start that, the more it is. You don't want to make a big disruption. It will throw things out of whack, but you start small. Okay? So that's what I say, is chunking it down and reminding yourself, I deserve to live a life that brings me joy before I die. Okay? And that one persona is offering something that helps me is no is a complete sentence. Now, if that seems a little bit too abrupt, and I've been accused of being abrupt, I try to add a few words. Thank you, but no. Yeah. All righty. So, yes, and you can say no without providing a reason why. Yes, not over explaining yourself is a very powerful way of being. Yeah. Now back to the wills and stuff. Kelly is saying, my friend's hubby died and left her with a mess. He did all the finances and never showed her the accounts, the passwords, right? I had to help her figure out what to do. So make sure y'all keep up to date and share that stuff with the other person. Yeah, Patty is saying our financial position has changed, but also the daughter is no longer a minor. So notice that you may have done, we did that. We did a will about 10 years ago, and then our situation changed and different things changed. And we decided we wanted to do different things with the allocations of whatever is going to be left when we die. So we updated our wills. Okay. So we have a meeting beginning of February to adjust it, the mill and the medical, power of attorney, all of that. Okay. So taking some time to do that. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. I am going to turn off the notifications. I got to blow my nose. And yes, scheduling your day. Let me get into that a little bit, because your day, every day, you have the same amount of lines on the paper. Okay. Every day, the lines are the same. Okay. What you do with the time you have is mostly up to you. You have an existing schedule. So start documenting what you already do. Okay. I do that already. I have used this system with my notebooks for years, and it has served me well. I have time. I thought I had. Okay. It's weird. It says do not disturb, but it's keep on disturbing me. Okay. Make sure that you just, even before you start changing your schedule, just start to get used to noticing where you spend your time, where you spend your energy, what days of the week are more busy than others. When are you spending time? And sometimes it depends. I'm spending this amount of time with the pets, this amount of time for the kids, this amount of time for my husband, and then I'm exhausted and I've left no more time for myself. Okay. Yay. Hey, Narelle. Narelle, nice to see you. You guys, Narelle, I don't know, you may not know, Narelle is tuning in from Australia. So a different day, a different time. And it's saying, after 20 years in my job and parenting 5 children for more than 30 years, I am taking a new job in another state. Check you out. A huge putting myself first moment. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. Congratulations on the new job, Narelle, and for putting yourself first, because and I will speak plainly, as women on the planet, we are discouraged. We are discouraged from putting ourselves first. We are told that that is selfish and greedy and not good, that you should always be there for other people. And what I say is, no. But what I also offer is, it doesn't have to be an either or. It should be a yes and. Yes and. Yes, I am taking care of myself. And when I take care of myself, I have time to help other people as well. Okay? Yes and. Okay. Cassandra is saying, I really need assistance to declutter my mindset. Declutter. My mindset needs focused. What is a great start position? I don't know if it's great, but I'll show you what I do. Okay, I'm a Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, I bring that up because I say it all the time, because I want you to remember it, but also because destination. Cassandra, this is where the destination comes in handy. And notice if I scooch down here behind my big mop of hair here, you're going to see that there is a car, and it's driving from this point right here, and it's chugging along towards the destination. Okay. So if you need focus on your destination. You're starting here at the beginning of your journey. Here you are. Where do you want to go? And I highly recommend this. Okay, so I'll give a quick framework, Cassandra, is when I'm coaching, and I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives almost every day, I like to make sure I'm hitting the same points, because I want to give you a framework to use. So I'm going to give you a 4-step thing, a 3-step thing. I got to figure out a 2-step. Actually, they're so funny. There's a 2-step in my coaching training. It's not Aztec 2-step. I gotta write note to self, because this is good. It's like, hey, wait a minute. two-step from training. I will look that up for my coaching training. Okay, so the four things I want to think of. And the reason I say four like this as opposed to like this is because they're in order. Okay. One is everybody on the daily and throughout the day, check in with your physical body and ask yourself, how am I feeling? What message is my body sending me right now? I like to use the word down. Every time I say down, if you take a sip of water, you're going to be hydrated in no time. So from your crown on down, put your hands here and then just scan down your body and see if anything, hopefully everything's lighting up green, kind of like going through TSA pre. And then if anything lights up red, do something about that. If you're hungry, you got to poop, you got more comfortable clothes, you're too cold, whatever it is, make yourself feel better physically, because then you'll have a more positive ripple effect. So that's number one on the list. Number two on the list, but they're practically vying for first and second, is how are you feeling in your nervous system? Kind of like, are you all up here and all freaking out? Are you down here and you're kind of flatlining? Or are you kind of feeling okay, kind of floating along? Okay. Now, typically, when I'm coaching with people, they are in a state of overwhelm. I'm overwhelmed. I'm distracted. I'm not focused. So what I recommend is what I call to calm down your nervous system. First of all, if you've got excess energy, expel it. You know what I mean? Get it out of there. Just move your body and get that crappy energy out of you. And then after you disrupt that energy, then we want to go from being in a fight or flight and freaking out just to neutral. Okay. Just to neutral. So this is where I call all of the downs. Sitting down, feet down on the ground, breathing down, slowing down your exhale, maybe softening down the muscles in your face, in your shoulders, in your torso, going down the body and just loosening up all your muscles. Maybe looking down, focusing down, maybe softening down your gaze, and repeating those until you get less overwhelmed and you're a little bit more kind of like as Goldilocks would be, like just right. You're not way up here, you're not way down there, and you're just right. Okay. Yep. There you go, Cass. So you know that. All right. So doing the breathing. Yep. I move and stretch around my clutter. Wonderful. Now we've got to, as I said, I got to get the two-step. I will get the two-step in there. But the one thing that you and I can start on right now then is number one is going to be, oh, excuse me. I got distracted. I didn't finish the 4 steps. Physical body, nervous system, writing stuff down. Now, the great thing is you're writing stuff down in the comments right now. Please also write down notes to yourself. What works, what doesn't, what you need to do, getting your thoughts out of your head down onto paper, and then chunking down those thoughts to make them small enough so you feel like you can get started. Okay. Then there's 3 layers of clutter: surface, stored, sentimental. Then there's the 2-step, and then the 1 is going to be your destination. And notice, interesting, as I pointed to the destination over here with this heart, my finger actually was like destination happiness. Notice here, destination happiness. Okay. Yeah. Now I will say this, Cassandra, you are in such good company, because I have done one-on-one coaching with a number of teachers, and there are a number of teachers right here in the comment section, I bet right now in this YouTube, this YouTube live. So you're not alone in the teachers. Okay. So the 3 layers of clutter, Cassandra, are surface clutter, stuff on the surface, right? Counters, floors, any horizontal surface is surface clutter. Stored clutter. Now I see your thing that says I've made bins for the clothing. That is stored clutter. It's clutter. It's not on the surface. You've put it in a container, but it's still clutter. So there's surface, there's stored, and then there's sentimental. Okay. Sentimental can be stored. It can be on the surface, but it is a subset of your clutter that tells you stories. Okay. Yeah. So notice all over your bedroom floor is a surface. Okay. So Cassandra is saying, I've made bins for the clothing and shoes. So you've started with containing the clutter. but it's overabundance. Notice the overabundance. And I like that phrase of overabundance because it really is an abundance. I am a teacher who was an administrator and back to teacher back in the classroom. I am tempting to not believe they say. Okay. I don't know what they say, so we're in good company. What I will recommend is this is Goldilocks. You're a teacher. I don't care what you're teaching. Goldilocks and the three bears. You've got too hot, you've got too cold, porridge, and you've got just right. You've got a mattress that is too hard, too soft, and then there's one that's just right. So notice right now, there can be an overabundance. Then there's like an underabundance, but we usually say like lack in the biz, in the decluttering and the life coaching biz. But then there's abundance and just right. Okay. So if you have an overabundance, that will not be solved by containing it. What it will be helped with is decluttering it. And decluttering, as I like to say, I like to keep these things kind of snappy so you can remember decluttering is decision making. And basically, the decision you're making is what do I want and how do I get it? So, what do I want is your destination. So before you even start to declutter, this is why it's like a road trip, okay? Before you even get into your car, notice I said we're calming ourselves down. We're just getting into neutral. Now, this is where in my brain, I will share with you, this is where I shift and I picture myself in the driver's seat of a car. I am always in the driver's seat. You are always in the driver's seat. All of us are. We get out of revving our engine and spinning our wheels, but getting nowhere. But we don't just get directly into gear because before you start driving your car, you need a destination to head towards. This is why I even start with the simple destination decluttered. Okay. Now that may be a bit abstract, but so I will say this. So, Cassandra, do you want a decluttered home or is it a decluttered uh, school room or is it both? Pick one of those. This is number 3. This is going to be chunking it down. And I highly recommend as we play along, as I like to say, with the home version of the game, to write things down in a notebook. Okay. So you have in your notebook, destination decluttered home. Write this down. Destination, boom, decluttered home. Okay. We're going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to assume that because we're talking back and forth, okay, bedroom, living room, basement area. Okay, what you did right then is perfect. What you did right then organically is you chunked down. Chunking down is so important because it's the way you start it. You cannot physically be in the basement and the bedroom and the living room at the same time. So you have to pick a chunk and start there. But write down you want a decluttered bedroom, and then flip a page in your notebook and then write decluttered living room and then turn to another page and write down decluttered basement. Because each one of those, you want to use the same questions, but the answers will be different based upon the room you're talking about. So when you are defining your destination, everybody, I want you to think of these 3 questions, and they all start with the most important question to me, which is what do I want? Getting yourself comfortable, more comfortable, asking yourself what you want. Notice my hand goes right here. And listening for your answer. Listening for your answer. So, here are the 3 questions I want you to write down and then ask yourself for each one of these rooms. One is, and it's usually the one we all start with, what do I want this room to look like? What do I want, this room, this bedroom, to look like? And this is where the writing down part, the answering of your question, whatever comes up, write it down. Do not edit it. Whatever comes up, just write it down. Use the words that mean the most to you. Nobody else needs to see this except for you. I want my bedroom to look cheery, restful, neat, tidy, pretty, relaxing, whatever comes to up, write it down. Do not edit it. Editing it is different. Just this is creativity. This is, your artist's pages, okay? So that's the first question with all of these things. What do I want it to look like? Is question number 1 in defining your destination. Question number 2, I'll give you the answer for it, but I want you to write it down anyway, is how do I want this room to function? Now, I am big on functionality. I believe it was on the TikTok live. We were talking about winning awards and systems and things. Systems have functions. If things don't function well, and basically it doesn't work. So what I want you to think of is, how do I want my bedroom to function? That sounds weird. Easily is going to be the answer. I want it to be easy to do the following things in this room. I want to easily be able to fall asleep, easily be able to stay asleep, easily be able to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom without tripping on clothing, easily be able to fall back to sleep, and easily be able to wake up in the morning feeling refreshed before I start my day. Something like that. So the answer to function is always going to be easy. Another subset of questions I want you to think of, I want to easily be able to use an item in that room, easily be able to, I want to easily be able to find something, use it, and put it, easily be able to find it, easily be able to use it, and easily be able to put it away. I want to be easily able to put away my hoodie after I wear it. Before I go to bed, I take off my hoodie and I have a hook at the back of the door, so I put it on the hook. All right. The third one I want to get to, which is the most important, what do I want? When things are looking good and functioning well, it's a what do I want, but how do I want to feel in that room? And again, whatever comes up, write it down. This will help you focus your thoughts and create something to aim towards, to point your focus on, because now you've kind of created almost an opposites. It probably looks a lot like that room is a lot in the way you don't want it to. And that's great, because sometimes you can flip things over to the opposites. Does this help, Cassandra? Does this help anybody? Let me know in the comments if I've been clear, if you get it, if I can word things differently. Let me know if that works. Okay, because I don't want to go any further if this is not making sense to people. Okay, I'm going to take a sip. Okay. Yep. Cassandra is saying, yes, this helps me to figure out the questions I need to ask myself. Okay, Infinite Pile, you've got it. Please take a moment. I will pause. I will not go any further. Make sure that all this stuff that I just said, you've written down so that you can refer back to it for the future. It's like pretty much I'm like, what's the word I want to use? I'm narrating my book to you right now. But I'm not writing a book, people. I've written books. I don't feel like doing that anymore. So you can write it down and you can have what I would put in a book for yourself. Okay. The other thing was, if you're in a position right now where you are unable to write these things down, please remember, as Arthur Goyette once said, this YouTube live is going to be recorded, and it will be part of the January Destination Decluttered YouTube playlist here on YouTube. So you can always rewatch this. And remember, today is the one from Tuesday, January 27th. Okay. Okay. So, yay. Okay. If you can't write it down now, if you're driving or whatever, please know that you can always come back and rewatch this. And you may even pick up something better if this is all new. You're like, okay, yep, that's right. That's what she says. So Cassandra, because you're offering some details, I want to help you and thank you for asking or sharing those details. She says, I really have things in bags and bins. Okay. So notice that your current system of dealing with clutter is to store it. Now, you're not alone in this. I don't know if you've been diagnosed with ADHD. I'm not diagnosing anybody. What I will share is I know people who have ADHD who do this as well. And what ends up happening in those situations often is what we in the biz call a doom bag or a doom bin. And here, you know what? I keep on forgetting. I can actually participate in the chat. So doom, didn't organize, only moved. And I spelled moved wrong because I'm a cow. You are thinking, I will clear off these surfaces and store this clutter, and yet you may not go back into the bags and bins because you're saying you need to weed through them. So there are weeds in your bags and bins. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. I find it rewarding. Yay, a reward. Ooh, it feels good when I find clothing that matches with accessories and shoes all together. Awesome. Yeah. But notice that the way your storage of your clothing and accessories and shoes functions, you can't easily find step number 1, find what you're looking for easily. Yeah. So just notice there is a different way. I'm just sharing with you and everybody here. There is a different way to do things. If what you are doing now isn't giving you the result you need, do something different. And I am here to not make you reinvent the wheel. I am giving you a framework, a system, a structure, a set of repeatable steps that you can use. I'm sharing it free with you to change your habits right now. Yeah, just not sure how to do different. I will tell you how to do different. Okay. One is start with stop containing the surface clutter in bags and boxes and bins. Practice putting things away where they belong. And if they don't belong somewhere, notice you'll need to find a home for it. Now, the reason I say this is because what I'd rather you do is create everybody. You may not do this in every room, but create, starting with the surface clutter and eliminating the surface clutter will give you a surface to sort things on. That's when you will then take the bin or the bag or the tote or the container. If you have a place to spread things out, you can dump it out and sort things and practice not putting them in the bag again. So that's the first thing, would be stop making doom bags and start putting things back where they belong. And if they don't have a home yet, that's when the decluttering, you'll notice, I can't put things in my closet because my closet is full. All right, let's go to the closet. The closet is full because there's a mix of things that I want and things that I don't want in here. Or maybe I want all of it, but the quantity I have, the number of items cannot easily fit into the closet. It's like a math problem. So I can't easily find the dress I'm looking for, easily put it on, and easily put it away. Okay? How you do different is you get curious about where your unhelpful cluttering habits start. Now, Narelle says, oh, I have so many of those doom bins. You can start to do something different. You can put a date on those totes and bins. You can stop doing them and you can start to undoom them. If you didn't organize it, you can begin to organize it, and it can be helpful to have a surface to sort those things on. Stop doing what you're doing in one aspect, change that, and see how that changes things. Right. Yeah, now Gina says, I made so many doom bags, boxes at Christmas time. I ran out of time and had to doom then, Gina. Gina, it's almost February. That was then. I get it during Christmas. We often are crunched for time and we're trying to make the surfaces look good for ourselves and other people. Now is a wonderful time to then undoomify your containers. Okay? Yeah. Mhm. Okay, Cassandra, you're saying I have thoughts of grandeur and what to make money with it all. This is when having a notebook and putting your thoughts down on paper can really be helpful. Write down your thoughts of grandeur. Why the hell not? I don't care. Do it. You know? Yeah. De-doom. There we go. Undoomify. There we go. Yeah. Undoom. Didn't organized. We got to come up with, you know, now organized, not moving. I don't know. I got to come up with a snappy acronym, something peppy, something snappy, like Mr. White, or was it Mr. Black? I don't remember. Yay. Patty's kitchen is 80% better than it was. Patty, what are you going to do differently today so that the kitchen is not as bad as it was today at this time tomorrow? Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Cassandra says, I'm actually at school at the end of the prep period. I will leave now and see if I can come back in. Go for it. I'm going to be here doing this YouTube live for another 18 minutes. And then, Cassandra, I highly recommend, and anybody who's not part of the Destination Decluttered email group, join the email group. It's wicked easy. It's free. I don't bug you a wicked lot. And it's at destinationdecluttered.com. You scroll down to the bottom of the page, you put your email address in it, you share it with me, and then you immediately get a link to a secret page that says when I'm going to show up again live to help you. Okay? There we go. If you're joined, then everybody who's joined, because I know that many people are like, I didn't get the calendar. I do not send out a lot of emails. All right? What I do instead is I constantly update the secret page. And when there's enough changes on the secret page, I will then let you know, hey, go over, reminder, the page is where it's at. Okay. So check to see when I'm going to be live again. You will also see within the next week or so that I'm going to add the dates for the many declutter parties that we're going to do in February and some in March too, but we're just going to chunk it down to February. That is the number one place to get the resources you need. And I update that all the time. If I emailed you every time I updated that page, you would be driven bonkers because I keep that page fresh for you. So you always have the most current version of that info. Okay. I hope that helps. So doom bags and boxes, you will greatly benefit from unstoring that stored random clutter by creating a sorting surface. Now, for me, the way our house is set up, I have a table right here. My desk extends like 4 feet over here. I tend to sort over here. My husband is going to be sorting stuff today, tomorrow from his studio closet. He's going to temporarily set up a folding table to sort things on that surface. Temporarily sorting things. Okay. Yes. Yeah. All righty. I love it. Barbara's trying to figure out something. We're gonna keep an ear on. How can we make a sassy acronym that's going to be better to undoomify the doom bags? And notice it's really interesting to me because when I first heard of doom boxes and bags, I thought of doom, gloom, and doom. So even that acronym adds kind of a negative connotation to it. So I would love to have something that's like the opposite of that. It's like woohoo. We are organizing only here. Awesome. I don't know, something like that. So Patty, notice you wrote this in the comments. Write it down on paper to yourself. So when these comments go bye-bye in 15 minutes, you will stick to what you said. Tonight at dinner, request clean up after themselves. Notice stopping doing what you're doing and let them know to clean up after themselves. Also, ask for suggestions to make things easier to put away. What's stopping them and me? Right. What is stopping you? Help me understand. Was it earlier today? Again, I've been talking for almost 2 hours right now, with you guys. So sometimes I can't remember if it was on the TikTok or the YouTube. When somebody said, I think it was that one persona. I did not realize that my husband struggled with putting away my son's clothing because he did not know what drawer things went in. So ask them where their system is jammed up. Why is it so difficult for you to put this away? And be curious, not judgy. And this is very important when you're trying to get people to declutter and change their habits, is keeping the judginess out of your voice will increase the likelihood that they will not shut you down. But if you're judgy, they can be shutting down. Why is it so difficult for you to put that away? That ain't going to help. Trust me. I've done it. It doesn't work. Say, I'm just curious. I don't understand. Help me to understand where the difficulty is in putting this thing away. I want to understand from your point of view what's so difficult about this. And they may say, it's because I'm too short and I have to drag a chair over and get up there, and then there's too much stuff there. Or they may say, it's really not that big of a deal. I just am not in the habit of doing it. Yep. Okay. So yeah, Patricia, I have boxes labeled things to declutter. Those are my doom boxes. They totally are. You guys, okay? Yeah, too short is just my excuse. It's my excuse too, you know. It's also a reason that there are extra steps involved. So how can I do that? If it's something I use often, I put it on a lower shelf. I won an award for telling people stuff like that, okay? Patricia, you've got doom boxes. Okay. Yeah, so do I. I do too. I didn't organize. I only moved them. What are you going to do about it? Do you want to do something different, or do you want to continue to have doom boxes? And again, I realize sometimes I sound judgy. I'm trying not to. But what I say is, when you discover something that bums you out, you now technically have a responsibility to yourself to do something about it. And I'm here to help you when you are ready to do something about it. I can't convince you to do it, but you already know that you will feel better if you have fewer boxes that say things to declutter and you just declutter them. Because I can tell, because you put a little sad face on it. What would make you happier? The smiley face would be having no boxes labeled things to declutter. I can help you if you want to get there, but I don't do the driving. You're the one behind the wheel. I sit in the passenger seat. You're the one who, if you want to get in gear and drive towards destination decluttered, I will be next to you every single day on a live, as one-on-one coach, in a video. But you're the one who has to get yourself out of spinning your wheels into neutral, and then from neutral, deciding that you want to go there. And then that's where the change begins. Okay. So I love this, Patty, and I love specifics. I do. It helps so much. Example, my hubby brought me something he thought I could use. I didn't want it, and he just put it down and left it. Now it's sitting there. So, is it my problem to address? Okay. All right. From his closet, it was a robe he thought you want. And this is where we have to do. And I did this as a manager of people. I would call it reverse training, which is training them to treat you, to do the things you want them to do. Okay. So let's say he's like, hey, hon, I don't wear this robe. This is what I'm making up from the stuff you shared. I don't want this robe. Do you want it? And you can say, no, I don't want it. And then you could ask him to put it in your donation bag for the donation place. Okay. You can do it and be resentful, Patty. Or you can say, hey, I want us to get better. No, thank you. I don't want it. Why don't you put it in that bag of donations? Have him participate in the process. If you're going to do something, do it with clean energy. If you're doing something and you're feeling resentful, you are having an argument, you are talking back to somebody in your head, do it in real life. Do it in real life. Clear the air. Do something different. It may be different. It may be scary. It may be out of habit. But if you are resentful about doing things, your resentment is going to smell. People will smell the resentment on you, and you'll feel crappy and they'll feel crappy. So do something different the next time. How does that sound, Patty? Did I get it right? Was he bringing a robe down he thought you might want and then just left it there? Did you tell him you didn't want it? Maybe he left it there thinking, well, here it is. Maybe she can decide later. Again, this is why I'm not in your house. I don't know these things. But notice, you can change what you do. It's the only way anything gets changed is by changing how you think about things, how you feel about things, and how you do them. All right? You think, you feel, you act. You think negatively, you feel crappy, you don't act, you get resentful, or you think something different, you feel different, better, you do something better. And that different thing should be adding to your destination. I want a decluttered home and a peaceful, easy feeling in my home with everybody who lives here. I don't want to be a drill sergeant barking orders to try to make the thing look perfect. I want people to clean up after themselves. I want to clean up after myself. I want to make it easy for everybody to put, I want it to be easy for everybody to find what they're looking for, you easily use it, and easily put it away themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's a wonderful thing, Patty. If you're confused as to why he left it there, you know who knows why he left it there? Him. Ask him, why did you leave? I'm just curious. I always like to say, I prelude. So my tone, my New England tone, does not belie my sincere. I'm just curious. Why did you leave that there? Because then I will also remind you to get out of judgment and into curiosity. Okay, now I understand why you put that there. I would prefer if you put it in that bag that we have ready, with stuff to go to the Goodwill. Or I would prefer you put it in grab a bag and let's start a donation bag for the Goodwill. Okay? Yay, Judy Dukes. I'm glad you're finding this helpful. The only way things will change is if we change how we think and feel and act. If you say nothing's going to change and you feel resentful, you're going to do something in resentment, nothing changes. Patty, that's great. I love that you already have a donate bag. You should everybody always have a donation bag at the ready. If you don't have one now, go grab a clean kitchen garbage bag, hang it on the hook on the back of your bedroom door. That's where ours is, and go to town. Yes, I will ask him. Now you have better understanding why he put it there. And then if you don't want it there anymore, tell him, hey, yeah, no, next time you have any stuff, if you don't want it, you can ask me if I want it. But if I don't want it, please just put it in the donation bag next time. Changing his system to give you the result you both want, which is not having that robe that you don't want in the house or on top of the couch. Okay. So Patty, I will be very curious tomorrow if you show up for the TikTok live or the YouTube live. I will write down your name, and just for accountability and just honest curiosity to ask you how that worked. Because notice, I am giving advice. I am suggesting things that I truly believe will help and not hurt. But I want to make sure that what I'm offering to you does work. So I would love to hear from you. Hey, I did what you said and this happened. Okay. There we go. Yep. McDoug says, I keep one in the tub we don't use. Makes it so much easier. Love it. The other thing too, somebody mentioned hoarding recyclable bags. If there are those bags that you get from like Acme or wherever, Home Goods, the kind of the crappy ones, not the good ones. You have your good reusable bags, and then you have the ones that are kind of crappy. Use the crappy bags that you don't want and make those into donation bags. Okay, Danielle, bag hoarder. I bet you have a set of them that you like. I know I do. I know specifically the ones that are in in circulation that we bring to we bring to the grocery stores. Then I have random ones that people, brought something over to our house and they just left it and said, "Oh, you can keep it." But I don't like it. I don't like the quality. I don't like the print. I am very particular, and that's okay. So what I do with those bags is I use those bags as my bags to put donations in, and then I donate all of it to the donation place, bag and all. Okay, Danielle? So I just offer to you. That's one way I have decreased the quality of the crappy reusable bags. Okay? So I offer that to you. And speaking of offering, my goodness, you guys, I offer to you. We have like 4 minutes left. We have 4 minutes left. Wow, this has been a power couple of hours. I will share with you in the future. Notice when I say chunking it down, I am noticing that I am going to, starting next week, I'm going to decrease the amount of TikTok lives and YouTube lives that I bump together to 1 a week. And the reason I say this is because I think it's helpful for us all, including myself, to get a break from this. You go do something, and then you come back, and if you can do it again, you do it again. Okay? I hope. Yeah. And here's a fun thing too. Laura is saying, I am finding that repeated decision-making on items makes me more likely to release it. I just threw away a few junk things and put a few things where they belong. I've done the same thing. I picked up a few. I was given like these 2 little things when we were on vacation, and I've gotten so much better at this. And there was some merch that we got free for checking in to the event we were at. And I didn't like one of them. I knew I'd never use it. And so I left it there. I didn't even take it home. Other things I realized, well, I could do this, or I could do that. I could do this, I could do that. And I'm like, or I could just throw this tiny little thing in the trash. And I did, and it was done. Yeah. Notice sometimes all the steps you would need to take to get someplace, and it's like, or I could just throw it in the trash. And sometimes that's okay. Other times I can feel really strongly about making sure something goes to a good home. And I will be happy to take those steps to make sure something goes to a good home. Okay. So speaking of good homes, here I am in mine. I've been focusing so much on this stuff. I'm going to spread out and I'm going to say, hey, wait a minute. You know what? It's almost 2:00 in the afternoon. I got to get out. I have some things I want to do, some fun things I want to do that I'm going to do after we get out of here. I am going to get some good stuff done. And I am also going to prep for tomorrow when we have a TikTok live early and a declutter or a YouTube live late. And if you want to know what early and late are, you go to the secret page and know when that is happening. And if you want to show up, now you can put it on your own schedule. Now, if you don't schedule stuff, I highly recommend making a schedule. That's how you can do to make sure that you have good stuff going on every day in your life, like I do. Okay. And this has been fun. This has been fun, but I also need to get in touch with my friend because his mom died and his friend because his dad died. Make the most of the time you have on this planet. Okay? For you, for me, for all of us. Okay? I'm going to do it. I am. You may see less of me, but know that when you see less of me, man, am I having some good time. Okay? So speaking of having a good time, I'm going to sign off now. I'll see you tomorrow.